Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? I did a chat this morning and it went really well. I had a good time doing it. It went for over 2 hours, almost 2 hours, I believe. I only intended to be a 10-15 minute chat. It ended up being 2 hours. So we had a lot of fun this morning, and if you get a chance to take a look at it, there was a lot of good information too. But what I'm really seeing mostly about people concerned about is the registering of the tokens and security of the mainnet. So that's really taking up a lot of EOS's information right now, with the information being released on EOS. Mainnet launch and security of the mainnet, and also registering of the tokens. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to have a block producer from the UK, potential block producer from the UK on the channel, and I'm going to go try to dig a little bit deeper into the registration of the tokens, so we get that all straightened out. And I'll be glad when that gets done. When all the ERC20 tokens are moved over to the EOS, I think that'll clear a lot of problems up with people, and then people can start focusing on what's really at stake here, what's really going on, which is building dApps on the platform. And Block 1 will hand off to the community. Block 1 will not influence the community at all. They won't influence who they want as block producers. That will be totally up to community, and that's the way it was intended to be. That's the infrastructure that it's built with. So at this point, it will be once it gets handed off to the block producers and the blockchain gets established with a 15% consensus, then it will be community, and community will be running this. Block 1 will be open source software developers. Community will be running this. And so this time next week, we should have a new blockchain and development taking place in the blockchain. And that's really what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about the possibilities of what's going to be built on the EOS world computer. And it really is a world computer. It's putting things on a world computer. The computing power of this is going to be unparalleled when you think about the power of this world computer and EOS, the 19 block builders, the 100 validators, and then the side chains. And whatever other side chain, parallel chain, intercommunication of parallel chains, this is infinite. And this is why I'm so excited about this, and the information that can be put on this is I don't know if there's calculations we would even be able to calculate it. It's infinite. It goes on forever, and it's the amount of information can be put on it is unlimited. It's unlimited. There's no way to overload this. There's no way to make it so you can't take any more. It'll continue to take information forever, and I think eventually it'll take all the information up on the internet. Will go on the blockchain. And so what I really want to talk about tonight is like the possibilities, how this is going to affect the world. I hear a lot of people talk about all the medical records moved to the blockchain, the supply chain moved to the blockchain, how everything will be able to be tracked on the blockchain. But the one thing I really want to talk about is how I think this is going to affect the entrepreneur, the individual entrepreneur that is in business, who wants to be moved to the blockchain, who will move to the blockchain, and how this will affect that individual small business, the small 1 or 2 person business, the small organizations, how they'll move to the blockchain, how this will affect it. I want to talk a little bit about that tonight, because I think that'll be the biggest thing. The biggest thing this will affect the small businessman. And the way it's going to affect a small businessman is, first of all, with transactional fees. If you're in business and you run a business, you're going to be paying bank fees, Visa fees, MasterCard, American Express. You pay fees to the banks to do business. On the blockchain, you won't be doing that anymore, because you can eliminate those fees by doing business in tokens or doing business in a feeless environment. And right away, you're talking about a 3 to 4% advantage for people to be on the blockchain, just to be in a feeless environment. The other way I think this is going to really affect small business is to be able to prove information, prove identity, have information associated with whatever dApp you have, where if you're in business, you want to be able to link to your to whatever insurances you have. You'll be able to link to whatever other relationships you have to people online. All this will be on the blockchain, and it'll all be transparent, and people will be able to research and see this. So I think identity being able to prove identity online for the small business is really, really, really important. And right now it's hard for businesses to prove much on the way centralized systems work, where it's hard to access information for other people that are investigating businesses. So I think that'll be a huge benefit to small business. One of my best videos was how you'll be able to put your identity on the blockchain and not have to stand in lines anymore. I think the same thing will go on with business. You'll be able to put business identity online, and that will make business easier for your customers. You'll be able to connect with your customers on a peer-to-peer level, and you'll be able to prove information better for your customers, and your customers will be able to access information about you and your business easier online, easier through the blockchain. All peer-to-peer, person-to-person, peer-to-peer. No third party, no bank, no transaction fees, none of this stuff. So I think the biggest thing that's going to change in our world with blockchain is small business will be able to be done easier on the blockchain. Small business, peer-to-peer business will be able to transact easier on the blockchain. This is infinite. I mean, there's no end to what you could probably do with this if you just give it time, and the ingenuity of people and the ingenuity of the minds of people that will build on this. One of the things, and I made this reference, that Dan Larimer had a video with Ivan on Tech, and one of the things he said at the end of the video is he said, I will really be interested in see what gets built on this. And I think small business will use the blockchain in ways that we don't even think of yet. Small business will be able to be able to add information, access information, and use information like never before. And I think that's going to be a real boom to small business. Instead of things getting centralized with big businesses and they get larger and conglomerates and they suck up and suck up and suck up and pretty quick, you know, the small mom and pop businesses gets taken over by bigger, and you only have a few major corporations running the world. I think that's going to reverse with blockchain. I think now small businesses will start to be more effective. And instead of businesses getting larger and getting bigger, and the mom and pop shops are going away, and all you see is the major businesses, I think the blockchain will reverse that trend. And I'm hoping so, because more people need to be in business for themselves, and more people need to operate with, you know, their own interest without having to work for somebody else and not being able to reap the benefits of their labors. People should be able to benefit more from their labor. Like I was saying this morning with the Uber, instead of Uber being a centralized system that takes so much of the transaction, you can have a person that has a car, a person that needs a ride, and those two people meeting up on the blockchain. And then the person be able to prove the identity of the person you're getting a ride with, for safety and for being able to know who it is that you're jumping in a car with. So, and then just a mere transportation. Not only here in the United States, but all across the world. This will improve small business. And that's one of the most exciting things to me about this, because I've always been a small businessman. And, you know, I've always operated a business along with whatever else I was doing. I've always been, you know, something on the side, something going on in business. So in my heart, I'm always a small businessman, and I always want to see small business succeed. And I think right now, centralized systems really are working against the small businessman. And also government systems and political systems all work against the small person. However much they like to say they don't, they really do. So I think blockchain will add another dimension to the small business that we haven't seen before and we haven't ever had before. And I think it's going to be a real asset to small businesses, the blockchain. So I can't tell you right now what it's going to be. I don't know how this is going to manifest itself on the blockchain, how many different ideas I can think in my mind. Like I said, the Uber example. There's a lot of other examples that I can think of, but until we actually see them built, we won't know. Until we actually see it done, we won't know. But there will be a lot of good stuff being done on the blockchain. And it's about ready to launch here real quick. So anyway, I think price was up a little bit when I last checked. Tomorrow morning we're going to talk a little bit about registration of the tokens, and we'll talk a little bit about it, whatever else the block producer candidates from UK want to talk about. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the people that chatted with me this morning, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Thanks a lot.